Go live. Right, okay. So hi guys, we are looking at Saturn here. And I think I will have half an hour before the clouds roll in. So I just wanted to give you this quick look actually. And hopefully you can hear me and hopefully you can see Saturn. And this is just a quick reminder because Saturn is close to opposition, meaning that it is the closest. In this week, Saturn will be in opposition and will be the closest distance towards Earth in 2023. So I just wanted to remind you that if you want to do some planetary imaging, now would be a super good time to image Saturn in the night sky. As you can see, my seeing is pretty horrible at the moment. And I don't know for how long I will have this view, but anyway. So welcome to the stream if you're here. I know it's Monday night, so let's see if there is anyone here. Let me check. Can you hear me? Live chat has been... Huh? Live chat has been moved. Come on. I can't read your messages at the moment. Here we go. Yeah, I can see it. Mark is here. Good weather in the Netherlands. Goed weer in Nederland. Maar in Rotterdam wordt het nu bewolkt. Yes, Mark, I am in Utrecht. And I see the clouds. I already saw them in the west. In the western evening sky. So I think I will have Saturn for about half an hour in the field of view. And then we will have clouds. But yeah, enjoy it while we can. Mark Znidar just tuned in. And Mr. Lintonius, hi there. I can hear you. Yes, thanks. That is the seeing of Saturn I always get. Yeah. So, Chris, I don't know where you are imaging Saturn from, but I definitely don't have a very good place, actually. But first of all, I'm in the Netherlands, so that's 52 degrees latitude. And what that basically means is that Saturn is still pretty low in the evening and the night sky. So I think at its highest position, it's, I think, a little bit lower than 30 degrees above the horizon. So that, of course, means that I have to shoot through a lot of atmosphere with my telescope and my camera. And, of course, that gives Saturn a blurry view. And that's still independent from... Oops, sorry, I will put it back. That's still independent from the astronomical seeing conditions. So tonight we have some clouds in the air. Obviously, clouds are also blurring the image of Saturn. But at the moment, it's pretty clear in the sky. So the blurry image you see here is mainly due to the fact that Saturn is still relatively low above the horizon. So, and once again, if you just joined, Saturn is almost in opposition. I think it is about the 27th of August. So, once again, if you're back from holidays and you want to do some planetary imaging, now would be a very good time to image Saturn. I'm actually using the HHD 8-inch again with my ASI 678 color camera. I'm imaging around 2-3 a.m. the other night, but still not brilliant. That's Chris. If you're from the UK, then you are having the exact same image as I am, I think. We are at the same latitude position. And I think you're right. It's about 1 or 2 o'clock at night. Saturn will reach its highest position in the night sky in the south at the moment for us. Yeah, and then you have to be lucky. I mean, the astronomical seeing is mostly not so great, but yeah, sometimes you can get lucky, maybe 1 or 2 minutes of clear skies, and then you can take excellent images of Saturn before the clouds roll in. It's a little bit of like a casino, yeah? Because, yeah, what I would do is actually, can I show you this? I want to put Saturn here right in the middle again. Hope you can see it. And yeah, it's a little bit vague. I tuned I try to fine tune my focusing. That is also, of course, influencing the image you get. But I couldn't really see any improvement when I was fine tuning the focus. Anyway, I'm glad to see Saturn because I think for the last 4 or 5 days it has been cloudy. And this is my only opportunity actually to see it, because maybe tomorrow will be another one. And then the rest of the week I saw that rain was coming again to the Netherlands. So I'm already happy that I can see Saturn pretty close to opposition. And I hope, of course, if you live closer to the, if you're closer to the equator, the closer you are to the equator, the higher Saturn will be in the night sky, and the less atmosphere, the less sky actually you need to shoot through. So that means that you will have less skies, means less atmospheric turbulence, means that you will get a clearer image of the planets and Saturn in the night sky. So yeah, if you are like around like 25 degrees latitude or maybe even 0, definitely go out and look through your telescope to Saturn this the next couple of weeks. I imaged it, or I used the 8-inch SCT. Yeah, power made 2.5. It depends a little bit on the camera you're also using, Chris. So I also have a 2.5 Barlow lens, and of course, first of all, it depends on the astronomical seeing. If the seeing is pretty good, it sometimes is it is nice to use a Barlow. It also depends on your pixel size of your camera. So I'm using the ASI 678, and that camera has a pixel size of 2 microns. That's actually like super small pixel size. And I can actually do some imaging of Saturn around f10. So that's what you're seeing right now. So I'm completely zoomed in on Saturn. I could do a magnification like with a Barlow lens, but that would like lower my my frames per second, because I would change to f25 instead of f10. And of course it will enlarge, it will magnify the picture of Saturn. Oh, is it still going? I hope I'm not freezing up. Let me check. Is it not? It's trying to reconnect. It lost connection. Okay, but anyway, hopefully it will reconnect. What did I want to say here? Yeah, here we go again. So here's the live view back again. It froze because I actually have a PC outside of my on my balcony next to my telescope and my camera, and I have a long network cable from that mini PC outside to my network inside. So sometimes the connection is not super, but having that PC next to my, like that little desktop PC next to my telescope mount, it allows me to use a very short USB cable. Anyway, I have to capture Saturn as well. I'm only talking. Let me try to capture it. And my settings right now are about 20 milliseconds exposure time, and that gives me a frame rate of about 50 to 60. And my gain is at 275 actually. So, and I'm going I'm taking 2-minute videos because actually I saw that when you... Oh, ships, I do it again. Sorry about that. But under good seeing conditions, you will notice some changes in the orbit of Saturn about every 2 minutes. And so that's why I'm taking 2-minute videos max of Saturn. With the ASI Air. Yeah, you can do that as well, I think. Video capture with the ASI Air. I heard some people talking about the resolution being limited to HD, but for imaging planets that would be fine, of course. Dave, welcome. If you have anything to add, please do so. You have a 3.7 pixel size. Yeah, then definitely I understand why you are using the 2.5 Barlow lens. That would bring you to about the same image you see right now, I think. Thanks, Kyle. Yes, if you do like this live view of Saturn, please give me a like. And if you want, you can subscribe to the channel for free. It's always nice to have more people joining the astrophotography community and also the astronomy community, of course. You don't necessarily have to own a telescope. That's also why I'm streaming, just to let you know that Saturn is in the night sky if you are in the northern hemisphere. So the end of August will be the closest point in 2023 that Saturn will be at its closest point to Earth. So we call that in opposition. So Saturn will be in opposition, and of course that will be the best time to get a good magnification on Saturn. If you're interested in planetary imaging, and you can also see it with the naked eye. So when you go outside and you look towards the southeast in the evening sky, I would say a little bit past 10 o'clock at night when the first stars are coming out, you will see Saturn low above the horizon, and then it will gain in height until I think 1 or 2 o'clock at night, when it will be highest in the night sky in the south when you are in the northern hemisphere at least. And then it will move back down again. It will set in the southwestern sky at dawn. And Saturn is actually not the brightest point in the sky right now, because Jupiter is also out. So if you wait a little bit, I think it's 11 or 12 o'clock, so around midnight, and you look towards the east, you will also see Jupiter in the night sky. Or at least when you have clear skies. Right, I did a capture here. The downside with the ASI Air is the frame rate is not great. Ah, okay, that could be the case. So yeah, actually my frame rate is also not the best. Very important if you want to up your frame rate per second. That's pretty important, because the higher your frame rate per second is, the more images you can take for every second of video. So you can end up, for instance, if you have 50 frames per second, then if you take 60-second videos, you will end up with 3000 frames. And with 2-minute videos, you will end up with 6000 frames. And of course, then we have stacking programs like AutoStacker that help you select the best quality frames. So maybe the 10 or the 20% best quality frames can be selected from that stack, and hopefully you will have some nice final image of Saturn using that stacking program. And also, you have sharpening programs like Registacks. They are all free. So it's actually pretty... I think when you go into astronomy, like astrophotography or planetary imaging, I think actually planetary imaging is nice to start with, because you can like zoom in on the planets and everybody knows the planets, so you don't have to explain what you're looking at for your friends and family. And also right now, for instance, I hopefully we have 1 hour of clear skies, and I can take a quick look at Saturn and when the clouds roll in, then okay, I can put my telescope back inside again. And with deep sky astrophotography, you really need to put in the time. You really need hours and hours, sometimes maybe even beyond 10 or 15 hours of data to really have a high quality image of a deep sky object outside of our solar system. Anyway, I'm babbling, and good evening from the cloudy Cornwall, UK. Anthony, yes? The clouds are rolling in here from the UK. I also heard a person in Rotterdam in the stream, and he said that there were already clouds in the west of the Netherlands. So yeah. Hey, finally Saturn in the sky. Yes, Tessa. Do you bother with atmospheric correction? Chris, I don't. But I know that a lot of people use an ADC, like an atmospheric dispersion filter or atmospheric dispersion corrector. You can buy it for about $100 or what is it, pounds or euros, whatever you're paying your whatever your currency is. And it should help for, especially for us, for people who are like at like 50 or 60 degrees latitude, 40 degrees latitude, maybe even. When the planets are below 30 degrees in the night sky, it is supposed to give you a better distribution of the, I don't know, the luminance of the planet. But I never used it before, so I could not really say if that really is helpful. What I do, I mostly wait until the planets are highest in the sky, and I do use an UV IR cut filter because it is a little bit I know you can use the infrared part to, you can use this data, but it's also hard to get a well calibrated color picture of a planet. So I'm using the UV IR cut filter to make my like color processing easier. Anyway, so I'm actually thinking about setting up a planetary imaging course. So just give you all the information that I have about planetary imaging. And I think I will put that on my members channel. So I'm actually trying to make some slides and put in all the info that I know in a structured way. So I will be talking about the best times to image the planets, the best places to image the planets, what kind of gear you would need. And of course, there are a lot of options. So there are always pros and cons. So could talk about the kind of telescopes that are suited to image the planets, but there are different choices to make, and also telescope mounts, cameras that are available, and then of course the process, the capturing process itself. So how to set up that gear, how to align your telescope with the planets, or polar align if you have an equatorial mount, and then what kind of settings I use actually to capture planets, and what kind of software I use to process the planets into final picture. Oops. So anyway, I'm thinking about, because that would be a very informational, how can I say this? That would be a very informational planetary course thing. And I could also do a workshop where I can share the data I have, or maybe you can look at your own data, and I can help you process the data into a final picture. Anyway, but those videos are very informational, and that would take like maybe 2 or 3 videos with a lot of like slides and info. So I was thinking it would be nice to make that into a separate part of my channel. And maybe for people who are actually also a member of the channel, so people who are really into astrophotography, so I can keep my regular videos, maybe shorter videos about the kind of gear I use, how to set it up, and what kind of new things are on the market. And then I might have a couple of specialized videos where I really go into processing, really go into like planetary imaging, maybe later on deep sky astrophotography, and that would be like a structured course you could follow. So anyway, I'm thinking about that. And let me know what your thoughts are. So Bond, thank you. Love your channel. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate it. And great content. Learned a great deal. Thank you, Mr. MZ Lang. Sharp cap or fire capture? This is sharp cap. For one reason or another, I keep returning to sharp cap. And I think it's a bit of an ease of use kind of thing. At one point I started using sharp cap over fire capture. I can't even say why. Because both software programs are free and they are very good, so you can also do this in fire capture as well. But I like here the camera control panel, for instance. It's very obvious here what you can do on the right, and yeah, I've been getting used to working in sharp cap. And of course, if you pay a little bit extra, it's like £15 every year. You can get a pro subscription, and then there are all these extra tools like polar aligning, live stacking, and so on. So that's also pretty cool. I think we have a better picture of Saturn now, actually. Can you do planetary imaging using an Alt-S mount like Celestron Evolution? Yes, Dave, certainly, yeah. I think most, like the Nexstar and the Evolution series from Celestron, they almost always come with these Alt-S mounts, these arms, like an armed mount. How can you say that? How can I pronounce that? But anyway, an Alt-S mount. What you will notice is that planets will move a little bit in the night sky when you are tracking them using a computerized Alt-S mount. Sorry, Alt-S is Dutch. Alt-S mount, and you will see a little bit like chuck, and that is not so much of an issue, because when you're taking 1 or 2 minute videos, then there are actually programs there like PIP. You can use in post-processing to first align like the little wobbling you have going on in your video when you take a 1 or 2 minute video, and then after that you can select the highest quality frame. So that would also be something I could really explain in a longer video format. So, but I know that when we really go into that stuff, like what kind of focal length should I use in combination with, depends on astronomical seeing conditions, also depends on your camera. There are some rules of thumb on how to calculate your best setup for a particular night. I know that some of you astrophotography guys like me, we are really excited about that, but there's also a part that just enjoys looking at Saturn or observing Saturn in the night sky. So I'm thinking about maybe 2 kind of options where people who are really interested can can look at my data, can follow courses when they join the channel. And I think the joining is like $2 or $3 every month. You basically buy me a cup of coffee and I can produce like higher quality, very informational kind of videos. So I don't know if that's going to work or not. Maybe nobody will be interested, but I will at least do the planetary imaging. That will be 3 or 4 like very like detailed videos, starting with why you actually want to do planetary imaging in the first place. Maybe that's also nice too. I think it's one of the best things because you don't need a lot of time. You can do it like also on cloudy evenings when there's a break in the clouds. You can go into planetary imaging. You only need a couple of minutes. It doesn't require I don't know, like vast skills. I think you can practice, because you can practice also more. And it doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, if you take a 1 or 2 minute video of a planet, you can already start practicing your processing skills with the data you collected, with that video you collected, recorded. So I think planetary imaging is a pretty good way to start. It allows you to practice a lot. It's super nice to see the planets in the sky. People also recognize the planets. Oh, here we go. I think the clouds are here. The clouds from the UK have arrived in the Netherlands. Is this actually real? Shush, shush, shush. What about shush, shush? Is that actually real? Yep, this is a real image, and you will see it in a moment, because we will get clouds, and then Saturn will disappear behind the clouds. So this is a live telescope view using a planetary camera and a telescope. And actually there's a lot of folks out there in the astrophotography community that actually do planetary imaging. Oh, here goes my light. It's back again. Two Hand UK, Uke. Yes, Two Hand Uke, welcome again. Haven't talked to you in a long time. Nice to see you. And yes, this is the ASI 678 color camera. So pixel size 2. James Ball. James is a long-time friend. Always joins when he can. And I love him. So James from the UK, welcome. So we are looking at Saturn. For those of you who joined a little bit later, Saturn is almost in opposition. So I think 4 or 5 days from now, on the 26th or the 27th of August, I think the 27th of August, Saturn will be closest to Earth. So astronomers call that where Saturn is in opposition, because it's in its closest point towards Earth in our orbit around the Sun. So that's the best time to actually look at Saturn, to image Saturn. And that's also why I wanted to show you just a quick live view, so that you're looking at a live view through my telescope. And Kyle, you have become an Astro Coffee supporter. That is super nice. Thank you so much, Kyle. I hope I will not disappoint you with my the course I'm thinking about making on planetary imaging first, and then hopefully move on to deep sky astrophotography. Those rings are going to be bright. Always a joy and a pleasure having you as well, James. Thank you. So you see the wobbling here, and that means that we are close to hitting some clouds. I can actually take a look at cloud radar. Let me check. Wolkenradar in Dutch. Cloud radar. Can I also show you? Oh yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. No, it should already be. Oh, it's here. It's here. It's here. Shall I? I will show you. Can I actually show you? I think so. If I do not browser, this one I think, Chrome. All right. Can you see it? You can't. Okay. Windows 10. Still can't see it. Splash. This one. All right. So here you see it, I guess. Hopefully. So I'm in the Netherlands, and you see that the show is almost over. Oh, why is it not? Oh yeah, wait. Here. Can I? Ah, yeah, actually you see it here. So I'm in the northwest of Europe. Can I put it below the webcam? So I'm here in northwest Europe, and you see here that the UK is a little bit here on the left. Hope you can see it with a lot of commercial shit. Sorry about that. So here's the UK on the left. Am I actually showing it you? And yeah, you see the clouds rolling in. It's right now, it's happening. So let me move back quickly to the live view. Hopefully I still have a live view. I still have a live view. Yeah, and that's also because, yeah. So I'm here in the middle of the Netherlands, here in Utrecht. And this is like a 3-hour prediction. So definitely we are going to have a lot of clouds. But for now we still enjoy some of the last clear skies, I think, this evening. Anyway, so now you know where I am. And again, the Netherlands is like it's 52 degrees latitude. So I think if you look at the US, it's the same latitude as Canada. So that's pretty high up, actually. So that also means that Saturn is pretty low for me in the evening sky, in the night sky. Here we go. Here, you see it? Clouds rolling in. Ooh. What I can do is, of course, give you... Oh, that's maybe one thing to then finish the very quick live stream we had. Maybe I can give you this wide field view, if the clouds are not here yet. So here you can see Saturn in a wide field. Hopefully you can see it. So let me then also do a long exposure picture. So you can actually see the moon system. That's also always very nice to look at. So let me get the 2-second pictures here with gain 300. You can see here we have some nice moons around Saturn. And I actually didn't check if I put in my camera in a correct way. Like the correct way would be to actually put the... Like I can turn the camera 360. So I can actually check what the situation should be. Let me zoom in. Insert. Anyway. Maybe here. I'm quickly going to check. Oh, it's upside down, I think. Oh, can you see this as well? Yeah. So this should be the case. So we have Titan, which is the brightest moon on the right, but I think in my picture it's actually on the left. So if I move back to the live view, you see this very bright spot here on the left. That's actually Titan, I'm almost sure. So what I can do is actually flip. I can do that somewhere. I can flip the view. Flip both. I think that is how it should be. So now Titan, the brightest moon, is on the right, but I can see, oh, the clouds are rolling in. You can see even at 3 seconds, yeah, the moons are getting out of view. Here, now I have a 3-second picture. You see that on the right, you see Saturn, of Titan. No. I think this is it, guys. Oh, maybe it's coming back. Here we have, so we have Titan on the right. And what do we have more? Let's see, it's Titan, and closer by we have Rhea. And there are also 2 other. Anyway, and on the left we have Tethys and Dione. So these are the moons we are on the left here. So anyway, these are the moons we are looking at live. But as you can see, let me check if we can still see the surface. Going back to 20 milliseconds at going back to like 300 maybe. Yeah, pretty funky. You can see the clouds. Let's zoom in here. So I'm just limiting the capturing area. It allows me to zoom in. Oh, it's almost gone. 200%. Here we have Saturn again. with clouds from the UK. But now they are Dutch clouds too. Would you say the 678 MC is worth the upgrade from the 224 MC for planetary? Oh, and there Saturn went away. It depends a little bit. I think the 224 color camera is still a very good camera for planetary imaging. I do know that the 678 MC is pretty affordable. It's not the most expensive camera that's out there. And it has some nice features like high gain control, HGC. You should check that out. So at high gain, it will limit your noise in your video. So that's pretty nice to have. And also, yeah, this camera, if you have only a planetary camera, this camera, if you take long exposure pictures, it doesn't suffer from, how do you say that? Amp glow. So it doesn't suffer from amp glow in your picture. So you can even do some like short exposure, deep sky astrophotography with this thing. Of course, it doesn't have a cooler or anything, but it doesn't have any amp glow, so you could take long exposure pictures with the ASI 678 MC. So I think these are might be a couple of advantages. I also think that the pixel size is 2.0. It's smaller than the ASI 224. I think it's like 2.4 or 2.9. So the pixels are a little bit larger, meaning that you will probably need a Barlow lens with that 224 MC, but it depends also on the focal length of your telescope. So ideally, in good seeing conditions, you want like 0.25 arc seconds per pixel when imaging the planets, or even get down to 0.1, depending on where you are in the world. If you have really, really excellent seeing conditions and the planets are high in the sky when you're close to the equator, for instance. Anyway, there's so not a definite yes or no. There are a lot of factors to talk about, and that's also why I want to do like a more extensive like informational videos, but I will put them on the member channel. So I just made like a membership available. It's like $2.99, and the first thing I will do is try to make 3 or 4 videos, like really lectures, follow-up videos about planetary imaging. So why it is fun, when and where to shoot, what kind of gear to use, including cameras, telescopes, and mounts, and what kind of software you can use to actually image the planets, capture the planets, and also process the data. I will also share some data I have, some videos of the planet, so you can use those videos yourself to practice the processing. But as you can see, my skies are not ideal, so you will definitely not get the highest grade data, but you will get data that is useful in terms of learning how to process your planetary videos. Anyway, it's almost gone. Let's look at those clouds again. AstroDuck. Sorry I'm late. Why? No, don't apologize, AstroDuck. It's astrophotography doesn't always start. It starts like when it's dark, so so we see now a lot of fluctuations, obviously because the clouds are rolling in. So this is 15 milliseconds. So when it's clear, I usually can get like 20 milliseconds at 275 gain, like around 300 gain for this camera. And now you can see clearly that there are clouds because the brightness fluctuates a lot. Thanks, Chris. Wido, do you know any work from Stephen Hawking? It's very hard to finish Tessa. I'm not a physicist. Of course, I know Stephen Hawking, and I know he did some super important work on black holes. And the only thing I got out of it is that by looking at those black holes, he thought he could also explain how actually the universe started like 13.7 billion years ago. And that's pretty freaking awesome if you are into that, if you actually try to explain these exotic conditions under which the universe came to be. And that's basically the holy grail, I think, in astronomy. And also to understand how actually a black hole works. And yeah, I can give you some basic information about astronomy, like where and when to look at planets, what kind of deep sky objects there are to look at, and how awesome it is to look at other nebulas where stars are born in our galaxy, or even other galaxies outside of our own solar system. You can do some fantastic amateur astronomy and astrophotography nowadays with the equipment that is available. So that's really what I'm doing, and just spreading the word that everybody can understand a little bit, like what's out there in the night sky, and that we are a part of it, of course, as well. Anyway, I was waiting until the clouds would really take over, but I still have a view. I still have it's not. It's getting tricky. Maybe we will finish with. Oh, and it's back again. Let me get this wide field view again, because now when there are clouds, I'm not imaging. I'm not capturing. I mean, I'm showing you the image, but I'm not like capturing videos. And let's see if we can see it. 3 seconds. We have to zoom out, of course. So here we have Saturn in a wide field. Nah, I don't see the moons anymore. Maybe put the gain up. Put the gain up. And let's see if we can have a final look at those. Yes, here we see some moons. So once again, on the right hand side, we see Titan. And then the one closer, let me check again, is Rhea. So we have Titan and Rhea here. And then those two moons, I'm not sure. Very close to Saturn. I see that we have Hyperion, but I don't know if it's like bright enough. And Enceladus, but I also thought that Enceladus was a super like small moon, so that would be interesting. I don't think we can see it. It might be another moon. And then on the left side we have Tethys and Dione. Those are clearly visible. And I think around here, I don't think they are other moons. They are actually stars that are behind Saturn at the moment. So newbie, you gave me $10. Super nice. Thank you so much. And yeah, thanks a lot. I will use it to keep on making these videos about astronomy and astrophotography, of course, and keep my YouTube channel and website operational. Super cool. Thank you. Wido, craftastic. Have you thought about checking out one of those Player One cameras? We got the Neptune C2 and Mars C2, and with the 12 SET. I didn't. You're telling me about it. I will look into it. It's interesting. Newbie, thank you for the insight. Thank you, Newbie, for sponsoring me, to gifting me $10. I will use it to buy cups of coffee. Do you use an app for astrology like astronomy? Hey, Tessa, one important difference. Astrology is like predicting your behavior based on the constellations that are out there. I'm not about that. I'm more about astronomy. So looking at the stars and the planets and deep sky objects without relating to my feelings, basically, or my personality. Astronomy apps, Where the planets are, yeah, I would actually recommend Stellarium. There are a lot of apps available, but I really like Stellarium. It's a free app. You can download it for mobile as well. I think there's also a paid version that gives you a little bit more information about the objects that are in the database, and also a little bit higher quality pictures. And Stellarium, you can take it outside and then actually point your mobile phone at the sky, and then it will exactly determine where you are. So you can use it as like kind of virtual reality, like a virtual app that you can move your phone around, and then it will actually show you where the planets are in the night sky. You can also search for it as well. So super easy to use Stellarium. I think most people have used Stellarium once in their when you get into astronomy. That's one of the first apps you want to download. And what also is very nice to download is an app on the moon. So it's showing you the different phases of the moon, and maybe also show you an atlas of the moon with the different features that are there. Because when you're going to look through binoculars or a telescope, one of the first interesting things you also want to look at is the moon. And very detailed craters and mountain ranges that are visible. Super nice to look at. So we still have some kind of view of Saturn. You can see stars and moons popping in and out of the picture here. That's because we have clouds. Let me try to once again to see if we can have Saturn in the field of view. Yeah, what do you think? It's still there. Let's zoom in. Let's see what we can get. Oh, it's pretty faint, but still visible. Cool. I'll try to do it like this. So I'm just waiting until the clouds completely take over. It almost happened. Let me also look at that cloud radar again. Where is that thing? Here it is. Okay, we should already have those clouds. Yep, so I'm here in the middle of the Netherlands. So this is the UK once again. London is somewhere over here. You can't see it, I have to zoom out. So here we have the Netherlands, very small country like Belgium here, and this is the start, it's the beginning of France, the north of France and Germany. Right. Oh, yeah. Now we lost Saturn. Let me try to up the gain. I think that's about it. There it is. Very grainy picture. We can also do, of course, increase the exposure time, because then you can also see Saturn. Yeah, this is what I get right now. This is it. Dave, love your channel. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for watching. Is the equatorial doing a blind tracking, or are you using a guide scope? I'm not using a guide scope, MZ Leng. I am using, I did polar line my equatorial mount this evening, and actually what I always do, it's pretty hard to polar align your telescope with a 2000 plus focal length telescope. So I'm actually using my guide scope for that. When I'm at native focal length, or even 2 times Barlow, like 4000 millimeter even, I'm not using my SCT itself to polar align, but I'm using my guide scope to do some polar alignment, and it's pretty close to. Oh, my light is dysfunctioning, so I'm now in the dark. But anyway, that's how I then polar align my mount, and then I slew to the planet, and the planet is then pretty close. It doesn't exactly put a planet in the field of view, even when I polar aligned pretty good, right, like pretty well. I still need to correct a little bit. I'm using my hand controller for that, so then I'm taking over with my hand controller, putting the planet exactly in the field of view. Also, during the daytime, also very important, I'm aligning my finder scope with my telescope. So I put my camera in my telescope, and then I look through my finder scope, and I'm sure that my finder scope, the view of my finder scope is exactly the same as the view I get through my planetary camera. So I'm sure that when I'm using the finder scope actually to make small corrections with my hand controller to put the planet in the field of view, I'm sure that it will also appear in the field of view of that camera at like 2000 plus focal length. Focal length. Anyway, AstroDoc Stellarium. Yeah, AstroDoc agrees. What you also have, if you use like just the DSLR for widescape astrophotography, there is this Planet Photo Pills app. That's also pretty awesome because it shows you virtual reality of where the sun and the moon, etc., are going to be at night. Anyway, for Milky Way pictures and maybe wide field moon and like astronomy pictures, Photo Pills is also an interesting one. But if you're just looking for like a visualization of the night sky, I think Stellarium is one of the best ones. What mount I'm using? I'm using the the EQ6R Pro. So that's a computerized equatorial mount for my my Celestron Edge HD 8-inch that's on top of that mount. And I also have the ZWO AM5, which currently I have paired that mount to my like an apochromatic triplet refractor 500 millimeter focal length. And I'm waiting for some clear skies during the night, actually the entire night, to do some deep sky astrophotography with the ZWO AM5. So guys, you can see here it's getting pretty hard to track Saturn. Oh, all the time when I say that, then Saturn pops up in the field of view again. Very interesting. Let me give you that wide field overview once again. Let's see if we can still... It fluctuates a lot. So we see the moons here once again. And so any final questions? So once again, the most important thing I wanted to say here is that, can you still see me, by the way? I think so. The glow of my laptop keeps my face visible. So actually there's a light out. I have to replace it. But anyway, the most important thing I wanted to say to you right now is that if you have the chance this week and you have some clear skies and you have a telescope or some binoculars, try to find Saturn in the night sky. Even with the naked eye, Saturn is visible. It will be in the southeast when just after sunset if you're in the northern hemisphere, and then it will move towards the south. It climbs in the night sky towards the south, and it will set in the southwest at dawn. This is one of the best times to look at Saturn and to do some planetary imaging if you have clear skies, of course. Because Saturn is almost at opposition. I think the 27th of August, I need to check, it was either the 27th or the 28th of August. Saturn is closest to Earth in the night sky, so you will get the best magnification of that planet. So I will hope for the best. I will try to do another planetary imaging session later on this week when it is exactly at opposition. But the weather forecast is pretty bad, so we have one good day left in the Netherlands, Tuesday, and then we supposed to have a lot of clouds and rain again for the next of the week. So that would make me miss the exact date when Saturn is in opposition. So that's why I also wanted to come on live today to just tell you that. So guys, I see some more questions. If you have more questions, I'm happy to answer them. Either in the comment section, or you can also go to my website, astroforumspace.com. And I have like this forum. You can react to articles and also tutorials I have on my website, astroforumspace.com. And I also have like a form you can fill out and ask your questions, so I can look at those and email you back. Anyway, let's see some final remarks. What are your thoughts on the EQM35? I think that's a nice computerized mount to start with. It's not too expensive. Of course, I think the EQM35, you can also think about, was it the GTI, the Star Tracker from Skywatcher GTI? That's pretty affordable as well, but I think it can only have a payload of about 5 kilograms, and I think the EQM35 can carry up to 10 or 12 kilos of payload capacity. So depends a little bit also on the gear you want to use it with. MZ Lang, 72mm apo, 3 times Barlow. Is it possible to get a similar image like when you are getting now? Well, in terms of magnification, yes. So MZ Lang, if you want just to 3 times Barlow and a 7:8, what is your f ratio? I need to know that then. But let's say your f ratio is about 500. If you have a 3 times Barlow, your focal length will be 500 times 3 is 1500. And I'm currently at 2000 millimeters focal length. So yeah, maybe if you even have a 3 or a 4 times Barlow, you will be able to magnify. But the issue is, of course, that your refractor telescope, it has the 72mm aperture lens. So although it's a very good lens, it's limited in terms of the light it can collect. So I have a 200mm, like the Schmidt-Cassegrain I'm using has a 200mm aperture. So I can collect more light, and that translates into getting a little bit like more detailed picture of Saturn. Especially the surface details and the rings of Saturn are going to be better when you're using a bigger aperture telescope. But that being said, look at the seeing tonight I'm getting. Huh? So it's pretty horrible. And if my seeing, like my astronomical seeing, like clouds in the air and wind and turbulence, if my seeing conditions are bad, then you can have the same image with a refractor telescope as with the most expensive and the most, the biggest aperture and longest focal length telescope there is, because the astronomical seeing is then just such that you cannot get a good quality magnification of the planet. So depends on a lot of factors. The aperture, the focal length, also the camera you're using, the pixel size of your camera, and the seeing conditions. And that's why I need to make a structured video about this, like multiple videos about planetary imaging. And I think I'm going to put that on my members part of the channel here. Yeah, Crafttastic, the weather is getting worse. Better weather. I will definitely get out if the clouds permit. Thanks for the stream. Thanks to Handjuk. I have an EQM35 for sale. Well, you can talk to Woody. I'm using the Edge HD 8-inch. Yes. Hey guys, it's fluctuating a lot. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for. Hopefully you liked the video. I will make more structured videos about planetary imaging as well. I just wanted to show you Saturn. I did. So I hope you have a very nice evening and night. I hope you will get an opportunity to check out Saturn in the night sky and hopefully also do some planetary imaging. And let me now finish with hopefully like a nice zoomed in image. It's not nice, but it's zoomed of Saturn. Here we have it. Let's see if we can take a final look at those rings. It's pretty grainy right now. Maybe up the... Let's see that this is the best I'm getting right now, and it's fluctuating a lot, so that is also why I'm ending the stream. So I think this is a nice view to finish it, finish the live stream. Whoops. So thank you so much, and yeah, talk to you later.